Hello guys, welcome to Corpus. So today we will solve a question which was asked in Zomato. So before looking into the question, let's see the data that we were given. So in this question, we were given only one table which is called reviews. And when I run this query, select star from reviews, then this is the output of that particular query. So in this table, we have a column called review ID, user ID, submit date, restaurant ID, and rating. So basically each row of this data tells you the rating given to a particular restaurant on a particular date by a particular customer, and for each review they have a review ID, so it's a primary key for this table. So now let's look into the question. The question says write a SQL query to find the monthly average rating for each restaurant considering only months with more than one rating. So basically we have to find the average monthly rating of each restaurant, and we have to consider only months which have more than one rating. Okay, so how can we solve this? So in this data, we are given data at a date level. So we will need to aggregate it at a monthly level. So this date column has to be converted into month, and then we have to take average of this particular column for each restaurant in each month, right? So we will have a group of a restaurant ID and a month, and for that one group we will calculate the average. So when I say group, so for example you can see that for 101, this restaurant ID 101, this date and then this date, these two dates fall in January for this restaurant. Yeah, so this two dates and basically these two rows will form one group because they both fall in same month for same restaurant. So in this group we will find the average of these two ratings. For example, average of these two ratings will be 4 plus 5 by 2, which is 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. Similarly, for the same restaurant, if you look at these two data points, then these two lie in February. So for 101, this will be another group. The combination of this restaurant ID and the month will be another group. Again, the average here will be again 5 plus 4 by 2, which is 4.5. And this particular row should be neglected because this is only one data point for this particular restaurant, and the question says consider only months with more than one rating, so this row should be neglected. So for 101 we should have our output something like this. We should have the restaurant ID for this restaurant in month 1, let's call it maybe month 1. We should have the output as 4.5, and then for 101 for month 2 we should have the rating again as 4.5, and there should not be any month 3 in the output, right? The similar thing should happen for other restaurants as well. So yeah, let's get started. So what I'll do is let me start with select from what we only have one table, and I will like select from reviews. Okay, now what do we have to select, that we will see later. So we have to create a group here, and within that group we have to calculate the average rating, right? So we have to calculate, let me select average rating, then first average rating. Yes, so we'll use the average function here, but we have to select average for which group. So as grouping has to be done, so I'll use group by the month column. We don't have the month column. Let me for now just give it a name, rating month. We will define this rating month in a while, and then another group, another column to group it will be restaurant ID, right? Because as I told you, we have to look into each month and restaurant combination group and take the average within that. So these two groups will be there, and within this group we have to select only cases where within that group the number of rows, which is basically the number of ratings in that month, are greater than 1. As I discussed, this row should be excluded. So here we can use then having count of rating greater than 1, right? So what this part is doing is it is group this part. So what this part is doing is it is grouping the data by rating month and restaurant ID, and for each group it is counting the number of ratings given in that group, and it will only consider those groups where the rating is greater than 1, right? This is how the group by and having part will work. Now let's define this rating month as well. So we will say as rating month. So I'll use the date trunc function here to define the date trunc function here to define the month. So what this function will do is I'll apply this function on this submit date column to trunc it to the beginning of the month. So example, this date will be converted to 1st of January instead of 15th, and this will also be converted to 1st of January. So how we will do this is we will pass two parameters. One is month to tell it that trunc it to the beginning of the month, and what do we have to trunc? We have to trunc the submit date column. So we'll write submit underscore date. So this will give me this particular cell will be converted to 2022-01-01. This will also be converted to 2022-01-01, so that these two rows can be formed as a group, because same for same restaurants, these same month data, and then we can do the average over these two rows, right? So this will give me the month column. We need one more column, that was restaurant ID. For each restaurant for each month we have to give the average rating. So I'll also write here restaurant underscore ID. So yeah, this has completely given me all three rows. Let's name this also properly as average monthly rating, and we should also basically typecast it. We should cast it to decimal, because you are taking average of this integer columns, so it will return integer in case of this SQL server. So I'll also write cast rating as decimal, so that when it tries to find the average, it can give me the output as decimal. That is another important thing to do. And then this rating month, now we'll have to replace with this, because this is what our definition is. So yeah, let me replace this, and now if we run this query, it should run fine. Let's run it and let's see our output. Yeah, so here we have the output for 101 restaurant ID. We got the two rows as we discussed initially. In month 1 the rating was 4.5, in month 2 the rating was 4.5, and for 102 you have the rating as 3.5. I hope this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.